Hello and welcome to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. On today's episode, we'll be joining Wing Zero Ceramic in their shop. And this is just one of the first installments of the series I'll hopefully carry forward with in the future. I'll also continue with my regular content of shooting local car shows and various other automotive events in the area as well. This is just something I wanted to try completely a little bit different. Thank you all again. I hope you all continue to enjoy the content. Again, if there's any suggestions, just please drop them below. We are here at Wing Zero Ceramic Detailing, and I have Cody with us today. He is the owner of Wing Zero Ceramics, and I just wanted to actually do an interview with him. I'm going to try to take a different direction with the channel, and maybe do some interviews with some business owners and also car owners in the area, just to kind of get some ideas of their passion for the automotive scene in the area. So, Cody, tell me a little bit about your interest and passion for vehicles.
Well, it all started about 2002, 2003. I always grew up family watching NASCAR and stuff. Wasn't really into all that. For some, not for everybody, but through high school, I started getting into cars once the first Fast and Furious released. Once it dropped, everybody was about putting body kits on their cars and underglows and tribal flames, and went out with a friend of mine that had a Honda Civic with a tribal flames and a whole Nopey type, period correct situation with his car going on. And so we went out, went to a couple of car shows. I was like, okay, this is awesome. I was about 14 or 15. Got into cars. My first car was a 96 240 SX. Back then, they didn't have a lot of aftermarket, options for the car, but I did have a body kit and I did have wheels. And people will be like, oh, you got black wheels, you're rolling around on spares and things like that. And now you see black wheels on everything. And after that, it moved on. Civic Si, got into some, other enthusiast type events like shows. And I think Bristol had something called Street Fights back then on Thursday nights. They used to take a car up there. Then I transitioned into mountain driving. Toge is what they call it. In Japanese, it means mountain pass. Been doing that for years and years and years, even before it was a big thing here. And after that, and meeting some of the people that I met, it's kind of really taken off, and I've been in it ever since.
Awesome. What got you into the business of actually wanting to detail cars? Because that's a big leap. It's a huge leap to want to do it and actually make cars your living at this point.
It is. It's quite the leap. I've been doing this 10, 15 years ago on the side, washing cars, interiors, basic stuff, polishing occasionally, using small buffers and things like that. Really started getting serious probably 4 years ago. I was doing it on the side in my garage, moved out here to Tennessee from North Carolina, and began to do more clients' cars, being introduced to newer people, new clientele, at my garage at home, and I started to get really, really booked with the jobs. People had certain turnaround times, and at the same time I was working a full-time job in Johnson City in laboratory management. Eventually I had to decide what I was going to do because I'm becoming extremely booked, overbooking myself, working till 2 and 3 a.m. after I just got off of work in Johnson City, and then going back to work, getting up 6, 7 o'clock the next morning and doing it again. And one day I just made the leap. A friend of mine that I, look up to a lot in Charlotte, he is doing the same thing down there and absolutely killing it. He told me a good piece of advice. If you don't take that leap and you just kind of, teeter-totter with it, your business will never succeed like you want it to. You have to leave your job to make this work. And I left. I done what I needed to do, put in my resignation, and just let nature take its course. And sure enough, here we are, a little over 3 years later, in our own shop, 1,600 square foot facility, climate control, everything you need here, all the accessories and all the things you need to detail. Everything is here. 3 years later, almost 3 years later, we've done over 165 cars at this point. Paint corrected and ceramic coated. We no longer do basic details. We have moved into a more higher echelon of the detail world, which is, scratch, swirl removal, and then locking that in with a ceramic or graphene coating.
Absolutely. I'm sure it's been great to be able to make your passion your living now. I'm sure it's been really a good feeling, I'd imagine. What vehicle do you drive now at this moment?
I drive a Land Rover LR3. It's my tow rig for my 2011 Nissan GTR.
Some cars you've owned in the past. What are some things you kind of owned?
Where do I start?
Getting to this point, having a GTR and Land Rover.
So I have owned several Evos in my lifetime. I have been an Evo addict for at least the last 15 years. It was a car that inspired me watching the old rally racing and stuff back in the day. You had the Tommy Mackinnon or McKinnon, however you want to pronounce that, the old Evo 6.5. So that really got me into my love for that car. Its rival, of course, being the WRX back then, or the Subaru Impreza. With that, I had to have an Evo. So I first bought an Evo 9. I had the Evo 9. It was electric blue pearl. Moved on to sold it. Moved on to an Evo 10. Amazing cars. I've never been a fan of the looks of them. Never could fall in love with that car, but the handling was second to none because I actually had real active yaw control, which it adjusts the torque on all four corners, not just differential front to rear. You have it on all four corners now. So love the Evo 10, but I did sell it. I had a good offer on the car. Bought an Evo 8 that I'm currently converting to an Evo 7, which we never got those here in the States, but all the parts are interchangeable on that body style. I had the Evo 8. It was down for so long being built between 2 and 3 shops, just a really bad situation there. I got tired of waiting. I'm like, you know what? I own my own business. I do well for myself. I think I deserve something else. And I decided to look for a GTR. Wonderful platform, great cars. It was time to go ahead and pull the trigger on that and get the GTR.
Awesome. What would you say your most favorite vehicle is at this point?
That I have owned?
That you have owned, absolutely.
Oh, boy. I miss my Evo 9 a whole lot. Everybody loves an electric blue Evo. They don't make many of them. They never made many of them. I didn't know the rarity of that car until after I'd sold it. I owned it for 6 years, too. Like, it's just a blue Evo. It's just a blue Evo. I wanted a white Evo. That was my dream Evo. So my dream outweighed the car, but if I could have had a white Evo 9, would have never sold it. The Evo 9 was probably my favorite. I did have a Type R in between cars, the Evo 10 and the Evo 8. I had a Type R right through there. Awesome car. I miss that car a lot as well. I feel like I didn't give it enough time. After about 30 days, I sold it.
Absolutely. So the Evo 9 you really didn't like the most, the electric blue Evo 9. More than the GTR, would you say?
No.
Okay.
No, after owning one of these cars, manual transmission or not, these dual clutch transmissions are absolutely insane. And with the power you're putting down on some of these cars, you don't need a manual transmission. And overall, the GTR, hands down, is it. It's the mecca. Now, if we're talking about an enthusiast car, like that raw feeling, Evo 9 takes the cake.
Okay. So the GTR overall, but on the actual raw feeling, the Evo. Absolutely. I can completely understand that. So going forward, where do you see things from here? Your future, the business, just where would you like to go from here?
So for the business, I want to continue to evolve in what I'm doing. As the years go on, ceramics, graphene coatings, I think they have some Teflon coatings out there too. All of that stuff is going to continue to evolve. And as it evolves, it's going to be more durable. I think we're up to like 7, 8. We even have tank claims of 10 years. Who knows if they last 10 years? But if they're maintained correctly, they do ASTM lab testing, and it has been proven that it will last 10 years if maintained properly. The issue is with these coatings, are people not taking care of them. Hey, let me get my car coated, never wash it. They said nothing ever stuck to it. I'm just going to drive it forever. There are pores in this coating that will cause it to clog up and fail over time. So once a year, every year and a half, keep it washed, but you need to take it in for a maintenance appointment. So with these coatings, they're going to continue to grow. They're going to continue to evolve. Paint correction will always be there, the swirl and scratch removal. So I still plan to offer that service. And as the ceramics industry continues to evolve, I'm going to evolve with it. My ultimate goal is maybe have a mobile setup down the road that we do on the side. Mobile detailing, go out and do their thing. We'll still offer the ceramics in-house. But just to stay in the ceramics realm, we want to be that go-to if you want ceramic coatings. If you want window tint, you got this guy. If you want PPF, you got this guy. If you want a wrap, you got to get this guy. If you want coatings, I want to be that guy. I want to be the go-to, the number one go-to in the Tri-Cities and Western North Carolina area for ceramic coatings.
Absolutely.
So that's what I plan to do, is continue to grow in the industry.
Absolutely. So continue to kind of just grow and, offer maybe even mobile detailing in the future.
Potentially, yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What's a vehicle you'd like to own in the future? What's your dream vehicle maybe that you'd like to kind of grow into?
I would like to have about a 2010 Lamborghini Gallardo Superleggera. I think it's an LP 570. I don't know all the numbers. Would love to have one in white. I don't know if they make a gated manual in those cars. I think it was one of the last models they made it in. That's my dream car. Realistically speaking, possibly just a GT3, maybe a 2016, 17 GT3, whatever year they made them. I'd like to have a GT3 at some point.
What is it about that vehicle that really draws you to it?
Oh, just the beauty. Porsche has had the same kind of looks since the 60s. That round headlight, simplistic but beautiful, artistic body lines. I mean, I could just keep going on and just continue to talk about it. But it's the sound, it's the RPMs you get. It's just hearing that engine just, oh my goodness. It's just the aesthetics also, they're second to none.
It's a magical sound.
It is. It sure is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there anything else you'd like to add about business, about what you enjoy about the car, just the car environment in the area? Is there anything that you'd like to add to the discussion?
Since I've moved to Tennessee, the car scene has been, amazing out here. There are shows every other weekend somewhere. There's always get-togethers somewhere. I may not have the time to go to all of them, but the car scene is definitely top-notch here compared to where I did live in the past. I kind of took my knowledge from the other state that I lived in, brought it here, talked to a bunch of other fellow enthusiasts about cars. We still share. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you're from or where you live, you still share that common passion for cars. Whatever style you want an off-road, overlanded vehicle, 12-inch lift, 6-inch lift on something, go ahead. 37s, 38s, whatever. Then you've got the stance, which, I'm
it's not your thing at this point, but maybe.
At the end of the day, it's one of those things. We still love our cars. It doesn't matter what you want to do with your vehicle. It is your vehicle, and you have the freedom to express yourself and your individuality with your vehicle. So, it's just love the car community, good group of people, and it's just pleasure being out here and living here and being able to offer my ceramic services to a lot of these enthusiasts out here. My business was made, as you can see on my business cards, and my motto is by car enthusiasts for car enthusiasts. This was created for the car enthusiasts. Now, I may get SUVs, we may get, other things in here, but we originated from being a fellow car enthusiast. So you can have a fellow car enthusiast working on your vehicle that treats your vehicle like their own while it's in this facility, working on your car. Or you could have Joe down the road, doesn't know your name, 5 guys working for him, won't know your name in a week, collects a paycheck. Then you've got a car that they've missed some swirls, or the coating, wasn't installed to this rear quarter, somebody forgot to do it. When you have that fellow enthusiast, they treat your car like theirs. And when you have that, you have a quality that can't be matched. You have a one product. They're going to want to put a good product on your car. And 2, they're going to put the hours in that they need to to make sure that their fellow enthusiast is happy. And they have that eye for it because they are car enthusiasts, because they are a fellow enthusiast. When you have that, you can't beat that kind of work, at least in this field, in this industry. A fellow car guy, that's what you want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, having an enthusiast that's actually very much into cars himself, I'm sure it makes it very easy to work with customers. And that shows in your craftsmanship.
It does, yeah. It sure does.
And I'll absolutely, through the videos today that you'll see in this video of the work here, that will show his craftsmanship overall and the work that he provides. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, not at this time. If you guys are looking for ceramic coatings or paint correction, you bought a new vehicle and you want to protect your investment, bring it down here, Wing Zero Ceramics, 103 Pond Street, Irwin, Tennessee, 37650. We have about a 6 to 7 year old building set up, dedicated for details and ceramic coatings. We'd love to take care of you.
And until next time, thank you all for tuning in.